All right, I just walked into the room in Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361, and lo and behold, there's something called a C-SPAN2. Not one, not three, but two. And it's talking on American history. It is this gentleman. And they say that his name is Andrew Roberts. He is an author of something called The Last King of America, The Misunderstood Reign of George III. Now, I have not read the book. I have never heard of the man. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. I mean, he's here on teleportation device speaking to me my feet are in North America. Now, in Linda's room, the machine up there is a little antiquated. So while it has the same remote, it's not what's called a DVR box. It's like the new version of the VHS. So with those tapes, those 8-track-like tapes, so I had to save it on the remote box and then play it back for myself. But there's a time delay and lag. So what was missed and what he is answering at the moment, one of the audience members in New York City over the last, I don't know when it came out, somewhere in my life frame after 1999, let's say, there was something on Broadway, which is a theatrical place that the monsters and animals use, in my opinion, to just cause trouble. But it's at what point, like, you have to tell a story of, like, what people are really up to, but it's deciphering the human animal code with monsters' financial backing that gets very confusing. So there is this new, like, everyone knows in New York City, there's something called a Hamilton. Ham, I don't know if it's ILTON, whatever. And it is not familial in character member who supposedly wrote it, produced it, whatever. I don't know. I don't follow this pop culture in New York, while there's X-ray lighting and technology being used upon my human alien that I'm trying to get to my person that I belong to and negotiate my way through this human monster animal conversation. So he mentions, now he's in some different place, he says right away now everybody thinks of Hamilton as Broadway's debut in, like, oh, I've heard of a Hamilton, right? Okay, well, here's the thing. The Hamilton I know comes on a $10 bill, and he has a very specific face, and there is his name at the bottom, and there's the face. Very distinct jawline on a Hamilton. And it's a $10 bill. Still the United States of America on the back. And it's still federally reserved note on the front. So I'm a little confused why this play was so whatever, when the synopsis was from this gentleman who apparently must know people, or he's been himself, I'm not quite sure, that Hamilton in this off-guard format is somebody who wants to actually come in and kill everybody. Oh, well, there's a shred of truth. It's not the one on the $10 bill. It's the one that wrote the Broadway whatever. That's what they're really doing in New York. Just letting you know. They made a play about it. They made themselves like innocent angels, right? Only to perhaps their mothers.
Any of the other Royal Archives scholars, or the Georgian Papers Programme scholars at King's College London, has been able to find so much as a sentence to support the 1619 Project's assertion that the Founding Fathers started the American Revolution in order to protect and continue slavery. There was no plan at all on behalf of the British government to extend the 1772 Mansfield judgment.
Now, I don't know that level of what he speaks. It's like when an American speaks to me. I mean, it's, first of all, I don't speak to Americans that are that smart or savvy, first of all. They just don't exist in my life frame. I've spoke to some real estate people. They sell houses for a living. It's, you pick up the phone, you meet a client, they like the house, you write something down, it goes to the lawyer's office, and then they do whatever they do, and then you show up, and there's a couple of things you need to do in the meantime. That's it. There's a mortgage person that's involved, but usually somewhere between the mortgage person at the bank and the lawyer's office, they handle the savvy part of the transaction. Other than that, I don't really know. So when he mentions these things, he mentioned something next, I think about a Magna Carta. I've tried to look that up before. Again, it gets really confusing trying to learn without a scholar or a professor to walk you through, or to hold like an on-guard person that knows things. I remember there used to be a saying, on guard. Yeah, right. I get that. Where are they? Because we're off guard, it feels like, and it is really a frightening world. So, again, UK doesn't have the same monetary system as us. When we went there, I can't remember what is on their colorful system, their papered system, or their coin system. I know it was different. There was some form of exchange service at Heathrow Airport when we landed. In Canada, I don't know because I never went. But here in the state of New York, Hamilton is on the number 10. Jefferson, again, is on the Jefferson is on the nickel. And so that's the silver and greenback program for where I was delivered. Super important, considering Hamilton looks awfully familial, but the Hamilton that the New Yorkers and the urban population has, like, broadcast all over the teleportation device and almost rewrote over the importance. Now, Hamilton, I don't believe, is one of the 4 founding fathers on the face of Mount Rushmore, but he is on a Federal Reserve note of importance and profile photo, as are others like Benjamin Franklin. And let's think. There's a couple of others. Grant. So what I don't understand is when that is the case, and I know that they don't have our paper handy, it makes it very difficult when the name is associated with a Broadway play rather than the man and the financier who had a very specific bill and reputation to uphold. So it gets, I don't know why or how they're able to do playbills, PLAYBILLS, in a playhouse right in the middle of the public. I don't know how that works into things. But now my Hamilton family member with the perfect jawline that I love more than anything on Special Task Force Mark, now all of a sudden is marked by this whatever imperfection. It's star 1978, star 8378, Nicole Cattaruzza. It's Earth, Solar System, Milky Way, Universe, Galaxies, Broken. It's Bayside Station, Bayside, New York, 11361.